So working with the DL Aperture set, like I say, it's called In the Window. It's windows, it's apertures, it's however you want to play it. I've got all my little bits here that I just need to scatter around. So today I am going with my Gemini, because not only did I leave my A5 die cutting machine at the studio, I also left my A4 one at home. So I'm not doing very well today, the last few days. So popping the die onto a lovely piece of pattern paper. Excuse the noise, because this is an electronic machine. So I won't talk too much while that's going through. So that has now cut for me the perfect DL size. It's actually ever so slightly smaller than DL, so you get a lovely border. You've got your tabs cut in there as well, and you also have your score lines, so you can fold those. So that's that die that can go back in the packet with everything else. As you can see, I've got lots of my other dies in here. Not only do you get the actual die to cut this out and the outline die, but you get all of these other dies here that are going to do the mats and layers for your windows and your tabs. So let's just pop that there. So now I've got my windows, all of them will open. They've got little thumb notches, which is thumb notches. I've cut as well, because I've got my white card base, which this will fit onto absolutely beautifully, as you can see, and just fold back those score lines there. But I've also cut one of the pieces of paper from the Daisy May collection that I was talking about, the loose ladies paper, because I want to just back that. So I still want the white border, okay, around there, but I'd like the yellow inside the windows. Okay, so next I want to let's do some glue. Should we do some gluing down now? I think we'll do some gluing down straight away, and then I'll add my elements afterwards, so you can start to see how this is building. So if you are running short of time today and you can't stay with me for the whole live, you'll be able to see how this comes together. So just using the glue here, I'm just going to put a little bit on the edge. Now I'm not putting any on these windows, so I put it on the windows, of course I'm just going to stick everything where it shouldn't be. So I'm just going to put a thin line of glue along here, along the bottom, up the edge, and then across these middle bars as well. There we go. And that will be for the piece of paper that I just cut down to sit behind. There we go. So got my windows there. And then I want to raise this entire piece up on foam tape as well. I know we were talking about how amazing the low tack tape is from CraftStash, the Creative Craft products. CraftStash foam tape is also absolutely brilliant. Laura, I guess I'm going to have to get some of that tape. Absolutely. Everyone's saying how good it is. It is fantastic. So pop in the foam tape. This is CraftStash foam tape. It's the wide tape. I love it, because the best thing about this is not only the depth, because if you're going to use a foam tape, usually you want to make sure you've got a nice deep tape, but look at how well it peels off. I haven't had to do the trying to get fingernails and things underneath. It just peels back beautifully. So let's take this and gently just line that up with my border to make sure it's nice and square on my card, and there we go. So straight away, whether I want this to be horizontal or vertical, I've got an interactive card. Okay, isn't that really good fun? Now I'm going to move to a smaller die cutting machine. I've taken these stamps. Now let me see, did I show you the stamps? I did. The florals and such are gorgeous. So we've got the sentiments, which I will be using in a moment, but we've also got these ones. So you've got individual ones, but you've also got the ones that fit inside the window boxes. Now I've stamped there, I'm going to say they're daisies, just the individual daisies, lots of times using my stamping platform. Coloured them in with pencil crayons. If anyone's into their pencil crayons, I have Prismacolor. I've got a big box of those, but it doesn't matter. You can just use cheap kiddies ones if you want to. For little colouring like this, I never feel it really matters too much, because you're not doing a large area. So as you can see, I have stamped lots of them, 6 in total. I'm going to put a few of them in the cluster and scatter a couple about. So I've made sure I've coloured them using similar colours to those of the papers in there. So let me see, we've got some, love that. Is it easy to squeeze? I assume you mean the bottle, the glue bottle? Yes, it is. It is. You put your own glue in it, by the way. Just so you know, it doesn't come with glue in it, so you can put your favourite glue in it. I top mine up with either Cosmic Shimmer glue or the CraftStash glue or the Scissors Express glue. Now here is a really old piece of that low tack tape. I use it and use it and use it. And when it becomes it gets dust and paper fibres on it. When it gets too much for to hold my big dies together, I then save the little bits for little dies like this. And I'm going to use Sam Calcott's little Made to Surprise die cutting machine, which is a lovely little machine. So I'm just going to pop it. Now this will stick to my mat, but obviously my mat will then move. So if you've got a desk or a glass mat, it's ideal for sticking to that, and just run that through. It's actually, because of the size of the plate and the die, it's probably easier just to run it forwards and then back again. So if you've not seen that before, it's only 20 something pounds. So I grabbed myself that just recently, so I've got that in my stash because it's so much easier than running through, obviously, the bigger machine for this little die. You just wouldn't want to do, would you? Thank you so much. Right, the Pink Frog glue applicators are in stock and they are £13.99. Thank you. That's for both of them, so you get both in there. Honestly, I love them. I had to send some out to Christina as well, the lovely Christina Griffiths, who is on our design team. I had to send some out to her lately as well. Shall I do a little tip for you while I'm here? Let me just grab a piece of cardstock, because I did mention this tip on a live just recently. Didn't get to show anybody, so I will show you now. If you are stamping and die cutting at the same time, and you get, particularly if you're doing lots of it, sometimes you get the outline isn't quite even. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you get a little bit off if you can't quite see exactly where you're stamping and die cutting. So let me just stamp this again. So let's see, we've got the little daisies. You may have seen this tip before, but I know some people on a recent live I'd mentioned it and some people hadn't seen it. So there's the daisy stamp. Let's just quickly stamp that in black, just to get that impression, because I don't have a spare one to show you with. I'm using the Creative Craft products. It's all about creative today, isn't it? I'm using the stamping platform, again, absolutely wonderful. Did I not ink the top of that daisy up? I did, I just didn't press it down properly. There we go. So I've got my daisy. Let's release that from the platform, and I want to cut that out. Now, sometimes when you're placing these dies over, particularly when there's a lot of fine detail, you can lay them over, but because the cutting blade doesn't come to the edge of the die, so you have this sort of overlap onto your image, so sometimes it's a little bit harder to see exactly where you need to cut. So if you've cut into a piece of paper previously that die, okay, lay that die cut over your stamped image so you can see through it, and you can see that there's then a perfect border. Okay, so I would then tape this template to my piece of paper, pop this die, give it a wiggle, and it will fall back into place. You then know that that is going to sit exactly where you need it to die cut around the edge with that perfect border. Okay, so let me just, you can also do this through both pieces of cardstock, just so you don't have to try and remove that top template at all. You can go through both layers. So let's just test this out for you. So cutting into the white plate with the blue plate on top or underneath. So this will go through. It's not actually cutting through your top one, is it? It's just going through the bottom one. The top one's kind of a template in there for you. You see that has cut through absolutely perfectly. And there I've got, hopefully you can see that, the perfect outline. I've still then got my template. In fact, I've got more than just my template. I have got put my tape on my machine. I have got two templates now that I can then use again. Okay, just little tip for you while I was doing that. So let's pop them away. So once you've die cut a first time, it's well worth keeping your templates. There we go. See, I get distracted when I'm on my own and I want to show you all these tips and tricks. Let's get on with this card. You're very welcome for that tip, everybody. Mrs. Stationery and Stuff. Please do tell me your first name, because I do forget. Many of you, particularly on YouTube, you have different names than your username. So please do let me know what your name is. Now, included in the set that's got the florals in, we've got this lovely planter, and we've also got like a terracotta pot. So I'm going to also cut this from, this is a wood grain paper. It came from a craft consortium paper pack. It's just a little 6x6. It's got some really pretty wood grain papers in there. Now I think we're at 1 o'clock, so we've had half an hour. I haven't even finished a card yet. That's terrible, isn't it? Too much talking. We're at half an hour through, sorry. So I think it's time for me to give you a question on a question to win this collection. What shall I say? I know. Do you have any Jubilee plans or Jubilee makes that you plan on doing? Is anyone having, I know lots of people are having street parties, people are doing cakes, baking, maybe you're sending cards to people, I don't know. Are you doing anything or not? If you just answer that question, we've got Hilary in the background. She's sitting there. Hilary, it's your lunchtime now, but I'm sure she's still watching. She will be picking one winner to win the entire collection. We usually have 2 winners to win parts of the collection, 1 for everything. Okay, so whether you're commenting on YouTube or whether you're commenting on Facebook. So is there a problem with the Facebook feed today? Lynn has just said this is so much better. Let me just take a look. I'm going to go and have a look at the comments. I apologise. Teresa, no Jubilee pans. Paula, there's a street party where she lives. Everybody on Facebook, just comment, let me know if the feed is okay for you, please, because I'd love to know if there is an issue with Facebook. I don't know if I can do much about it, but definitely come on over to YouTube if you need to. I think some people have YouTube and Facebook playing at different resolutions as well, so that might be something that you need to look at your end. I wish we could help everybody with that individually. Lots of you commenting now on your Jubilee plans. Thank you. So all of you commenting will be in with a chance of winning. I love how my glue actually matches the papers. So let's finish putting this together. So we've got the little planter there. Now I did take out this piece here. This is the wooden heart, or the heart that comes out of the planter. But I love that, and I really want to put it back in. So it's just like an engraved heart, or engraved, like you get the wood burning, don't you, that sort of thing. So let's just tape that back on. So a little bit of double-sided tape there, and just pop that straight back on. So it's double-sided tape, but I'm not going to release the back. I'm just going to keep it as it is. So this is going to sit on the front of this centerpiece. I'm going to put 1, 2, I think 3 florals behind this one. So let's take my glue, and I'm not going to be able to glue onto the back of the double-sided tape here, so I'm just going to glue above it. My glue's running out. I need to top this up. There we go. Louise Robinson on Facebook, you're moving, are you? Congratulations, I suppose. Where are you moving to? Is it far away? I've just moved. I don't want to do it again anytime soon if I can help it, but it's exciting, isn't it? It is exciting when you're moving. It's just nice once you're in. It's nice to have it all done and dusted and finished with. Now I did make sure I coloured my flowers in different ways, so I didn't colour them all identical. They've got the same colour tones around them, but different ones for the top, middle and bottom. There we go. So I've got my 3 flowers on there, popping that lid back on my glue. I don't always twist it on if I'm going to be using it again, but I do just put that needle back in there. Now I do have somewhere, I'm missing a glue. There it is. I knew it wasn't far away. This is also a CraftStash foam tape, but this is a much thinner one. So I'm going to place this over the top of the flowers and the planter there, and then just be wary of these windows and where they need to open to. Okay, so they should just fit on there. If you put them too far, that's not straight at all, is it? So I'm just going to gently lift this up. This tape, you do get a little while to be able to lift it off and put it down again, which I always think is a bit of a bonus. Now I'm going to lift that up a little bit higher above the base of that tab so I can make it straight this time. So there's one. On the fronts of these ones, I'm going to put these panels. So these are panels that I have just die cut, nothing too special, just plain white cardstock and then a little bit of the yellow dotty, and these will layer up. I've still got another card to make, and it's going to be a masculine themed card, everyone. So if you're thinking of ideas for maybe Father's Day or a gentleman's birthday or something like that, or maybe somebody who prefers to have a garden shed for their birthday card, maybe, I don't know. I had a for Mother's Day, I got a sander, a big disc sander. I was so happy, honestly. Each to their own, isn't it? So just wet glue, pop these on flat, they'll be absolutely fine glued on flat. You don't have to raise everything up on foam tape. I'm going to echo the florals, one at the top, because I think if you're going to put elements top and bottom, make the bottom heavier. So there's going to be 2 at the bottom. I could have just done 1, to be honest. I could just do 1 and I could put 1 on the inside, couldn't I? This is me making choices as I go. There we go. Isn't this paper gorgeous? Absolutely beautiful. So, sorry, Matilda. Yes, I meant the Queen's Jubilee. Yes, it's very actively celebrated. We're getting, is it 2 days bank holiday, I believe? So Thursday and Friday, 2nd and 3rd of June. The 2nd is actually my wedding anniversary. So we are taking the opportunity to go away and celebrate, because we wouldn't usually celebrate too much. So Matilda, was it Matilda? Whereabouts are you then? She said, yes, that's, she said, that's so wholesome that we celebrate that. Marie's weekend plans are to go and look for a new sofa. Oh, lovely. I do enjoy shopping for the house, however it may be. Now, this is going to be for a sentiment. I'm going to do just thank you. Lots of florals for thank you. There we go. That will fit lovely just inside there. All these mats and layers are included with your DL Aperture. Let's use a black, because I've used black for the stamping of the flowers, so I want to carry that through. Using this stamp platform. Oh, do you know what? That's perfect first time. But if I needed to, I can just keep going and restamping that. I think that was quite a new stamp as well. I didn't prepare that. If you need to prepare your stamps, just in case there's anyone new watching, I just use an eraser and I just brush over the surface of the stamp with it flat like that. And there we go, lights have gone off again now. That takes away any of the residue that's on there from the manufacturing process. So sometimes sometimes when your stamp is new and you ink it and the ink starts to pool on the top, and you need to use it a few times, don't you, before that kind of starts holding the ink better. If you rub an eraser over it first, that takes that residue off, and straight away that will hold really well. So let's pop this inside the card there. Did I save? I thought I saved. Do you know what? It's gone somewhere, hasn't it? It's got stuck somewhere or flown off somewhere. I saved a bunch of flowers to put on the inside, but I can't see it now. So when I'm not on my own, when I've got someone as a guest with me on these lives, I do have chance to just sort of check the comments and straighten myself out and make sure that I've got everything I need. But it's not happening today. We're winging it a little bit today. There we go. Thank you. Look at that. So it's a fun card. You've got the little doors. Now, of course, you can put elements in these as well. By all means, put little photos, put other, I mean, if you're going for children, stick coins in there. They'll love it, opening all the doors and finding little coins and things. Or even notes. If you're really generous, you can fold one up. Just have some fun with this. So this is the DL Aperture